Hi folks, my name is Mark Snyder and I work at the York Water Company. I'm also a longtime member of the Central Pennsylvania Water Quality Association. York Water appreciates the opportunity to provide a virtual tour of our Lower Windsor wastewater treatment plant to the members of the CPWQA. York Water was formed in 1816 by a group of business leaders who wanted to provide fire protection to downtown York. We now serve over 20 million gallons a day of potable water to more than 200,000 people throughout York and Adams County. We also provide service to over 3,000 wastewater customers. York Water is the oldest investor-owned utility in the United States, and we believe we have the longest dividend streak of any company in the United States, having provided quarterly dividends since 1816. You can learn more about us by visiting our website at www.yorkwater.com. Now I'd like to turn the tour over to Vaughn Wenger, who is York Water's wastewater superintendent.
Hi everyone, my name is Vaughn Wenger, wastewater superintendent here at the York Water Company. Welcome to our Lower Windsor wastewater treatment plant. It's an extended aeration plant, averages 80,000 gallons a day. I've been an employee at the company for 14 years. Before that, I was an electrician for 12 years. In the wastewater department, I have been here for 5 years. Our wastewater team consists of Jack Longstreet, Assistant Superintendent Wastewater, Eric Buracker and Kevin Kowalski, both wastewater technicians. Our wastewater treatment plant here, we monitor dissolved oxygen, pH, temperature, and UV, UV being our disinfectant. Inside the building here, we have a small lab registered through PADEP. We collect influent and effluent samples. Our samples are picked up weekly by Laboratory Analytical Biological Services, or labs. We also are a drop-off point for a neighboring wastewater treatment plant. Our influent coming into the plant from the borough, we have a Franklin Miller grinder and a Franklin Miller spiral lift, which we'll show you then. Our spiral lift separates our larger solids and rags and debris. From the spiral lift, we flow into an EQ or a dosing tank that regulates our flow to the plant. So what you see here is our ISCO influent sampler. It's new last year. The controls for the Franklin Miller spiral lift. And here is our Franklin Miller comminutor or grinder and our Franklin Miller spiral lift installed about 4.5, 5 years ago. And as you see, it's separating the solids, most of the solids from the influent. After it passes through the auger, the solids are deposited in the trash can there, and the bag is emptied daily. From there, it's deposited into our Public Services dumpster.
Hello, my name is Eric Buracker. This is Kevin Kowalski, and we are the wastewater technicians for the York Water Company.
Once influent passes through the headworks, it then flows into 2 chambers of the EQ tank. Each chamber is about 6,000 gallons, giving us about 12,000 gallons of equalization. From there, it flows into, it's fed into the first aeration tanks through 3-inch air lifts. And again, there it's passed into the first zone of the aeration tanks. The influent fed from the EQ tanks now discharges into the aeration basins. The aeration basin splits into two trains, with each train of about 40 to 45,000 gallons of mixed liquor between the two of them. The return feeds from the clarifiers feed into the first and the second zones of the aeration tanks. We use coarse swivel diffusers throughout the aeration tanks for air. For chemical addition, we add 50 pounds of soda ash a day, broadcasted between the first two aeration tanks on each train. Keeps the pH neutral right around 7. We also add polyaluminum chloride using a peristaltic pump at a feed rate of about 1 gallon a day per each train. Each clarifier has its own individual skimmer, where it just collects everything, all the debris, the grease, the floatables, off the top of the tank and discharges it into a basket, which we have fabricated, customized for this application. Each day during normal operation, we clean the skimmer baskets. As the effluent discharges the clarifier, it goes under the scum baffle wall, over the V-notch weirs, and collects into a centralized discharge manifold, which feeds the old chlorine contact tanks. The original plant construction utilized chlorine for disinfection. Since then, the plant has been refurbished to utilize ultraviolet disinfection. The old chlorine contact tanks are still in service today, and we use them as polishing tanks. From the old chlorine contact tanks, now as polishing tanks, and goes into our final aeration, where the effluent is just given its final shot of DO. We utilize a Trojan UV system for the disinfection process. From the final aeration tank, it flows through 3 banks of the Trojan system for UV disinfection. After UV disinfection, our effluent composite sampler takes a 24-hour composite sample once a week, which is also flow paced. Once through the UV disinfection system, the effluent travels to the final flow meter vault, where it is metered and discharged out to Cabin Creek. The final effluent from the treatment plant comes down here to Cabin Creek and it's discharged right here at the outfall.
Hello, my name is Jack Longstreet and I'm the Assistant Superintendent of Wastewater Services for the York Water Company. Behind me, we are in the process of doing a plant expansion, expanding our existing facility from 87,500 gallons a day to 175,000 gallons per day. This is a Dutchland designed biological nutrient removal facility. It's extended air, but it incorporates anoxic and oxic zones to help to remove the ammonia and phosphorus. There is also incorporates a internal mixed liquor recycle from the oxic and returning it back to the anoxic stages to help facilitate that biological nutrient removal. The facility will also incorporate a new UV system. We currently use UV now, but we're going to have a completely new facility right behind me. And it should be starting up in late spring of 2021. Thank you.